Good evening, everyone. Our top story tonight at 6 o'clock. Investigators now trying to figure out how an auto shop, this one here, went up in flames late last night. Investigators now saying extensive damage caused by that fire is making a job much more difficult.
It started around 9:30 Monday night on the 1400 block of Wabash. That's the Merlin Auto Repair Shop in the village of Jerome. No injuries were reported. Fire Chief Ken Fusson tells ABC News Channel 20 the auto shop had several waste oil containers inside that ruptured during the fire.
Investigators say today strong rains helped wash an estimated 1,000 gallons of that oil through the storm sewers and down a creek. ABC News Channel 20's Garrett Burns joining us now live from Washington Park, where much of that oil has collected. Garrett, what's the environmental impact thus far?
Behind me, you can see a crew from Bodine. They were hired by Merlin's to help clean up some of the oil spilled in last night's fire. They're working to clean up some of this oil, which has drifted down here to Washington Park. If you look down here, you can actually see that they're sucking up the oil out of the water using a special truck. That's all to help it keep from going any farther downstream. That's because the name of the game right now is containment. The fire blazed intensely Monday night, but it's the water running cool and quick that became the real problem. Rain allowed much of the oil, estimated between 500 and 1,000 gallons, to wash through the storm sewers, past multiple barriers in the stream, down to the duck pond at Washington Park.
This could be an eighth of an inch thick.
George Krebs, the Illinois EPA's man on the site, says it's not so much the amount of oil that makes this a big spill than it is how far the oil got, about 2.5 miles.
It's pretty extensive release. It's not a large quantity release.
Because the bridge acts as a natural collection point, the EPA is going to be doing a lot of its cleanup right here. Using these oil absorbent pads, they throw them in, allow the oil to get soaked up, then they pick up the pads. Cleanup is overseen by the EPA, but Bodine is doing most of the legwork, with the city helping out by supplying hazardous material absorption barriers.
You know, with the rain and everything, it's turned into a bigger deal than we anticipated it would last night.
With the spill so close to the duck pond, the oil could affect the fish, ducks, and other animals in the park. Park District officials said they hope the Department of Natural Resources could help them contain and clean any oil-covered ducks and geese.
We feel helpless and very concerned about this in our park.
A spokesperson from the Illinois EPA said the agency will conduct an investigation, but it was still too early to tell if it would result in any fines. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, too. The city fire marshal says given there were so many possible ignition points, it will likely be hard to determine what caused it. Crews have already put in additional lines downstream to try to block the oil from spreading any farther. As you can see, some Department of Natural Resources folks coming back up. They haven't had to take out any waterfowl as of yet. And from what we're hearing from the EPA, the oil hasn't spread past the edge of the park. Live at Washington Park, Garrett Burns, ABC News Channel 20.